So you're getting ready to do some work for a potential client, maybe some studio work, maybe a gig, and you're wondering whether or not you should draw up a contract and send it to that client for the work you're about to do. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should and why you should always be using contracts. So let's get to it. Hey, what's up, and welcome to Music Space, where we help working musicians just like you learn how to quickly and easily make a living with your craft. So if you're new here to the channel, smash that subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell as well. That way you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded. So contracts have this sort of negative stigma attached to them among the community of people who don't normally do formal business transactions with others. And the stigma is that contracts are sort of like this breach of trust, sort of in the same way that people tend to think of prenuptial agreements in relationships. And this is understandable to an extent because a lot of times we're doing work for friends and for people we know, and for those people there's already sort of like this gentleman's agreement in place, so it makes a contract almost seem like it's unnecessary in some cases. But I'm here to tell you that this stigma is completely untrue, and in fact it tends to have the opposite effect even when you're dealing with friends and people you know. So here are 5 reasons you should always be using contracts when you're doing work for people. And I have a special bonus power tip for you at the end, so make sure you stick around for that tip. Now, right before we jump into the 5 tips, I want to let you know that I'm giving away 4 of my most used contracts for free. Now, these contracts can be used for booking high-paying clients for music production, gigs, and other sorts of music work. And they include a bid sheet which you can send to prospects when they ask, how much do you charge? And it includes an artist writer sheet which you can give to clients to let them know everything you will need for your live performance. And again, these contracts are completely free, and you can find the download link to them in the description of this video. Now, reason number 1 you should always be using contracts is that contracts give you authority. Think about this. When people tend to think of contracts, who are the first types of people that come to mind? Generally speaking, the first type of people that you think of are like lawyers and doctors and formal business owners who do formal business contracts with others for their work. So when you present a contract to someone, you have this sort of advantage and benefit of having this stereotype, this business stereotype put on you, and you get viewed as an authority. And you want to have that sort of authority and influence in the things that you do for other people. Now, reason number 2 is that contracts lessen uncertainty. Contracts really give you this sort of peace of mind that certain details that are a part of that contract will be upheld. Details like the amount of money you will be paid and when you will be paid, and the details of the work that you're supposed to do. And you want this specificity so that you can deliver on those details. It's sort of like going to a baker to get a cake made. You want to be able to give that baker all of the specifics that you want on that cake, from names to spellings of those names to all of the work that you want them to do, so that they have that specificity so that the uncertainty is lessened. And you need to think of contracts in the same way. Now, reason number 3 is that contracts provide a clear and definitive description of all of the responsibilities involved. Now, this one is really simple. Contracts are for both parties or all parties involved in the contractual agreement. They give the who, what, when, where, and how all of the details of the transaction will be completed from beginning to end. Each party needs to know exactly what their responsibilities are, from the party that's doing the work to the party that's, giving the money for the work, to how you will be paid, when you will be paid, and all of these kind of things. All of those things are outlined in the contract. Now, reason number 4 is that contracts foresee what will happen in the event of a negative situation. Now, unfortunately, everyone that you do business with is not a business-minded person. Some people will try to do everything they can just to look out for themselves, and sometimes this includes things like trying to get over with not paying you. And not only that, sometimes situations just arise that, require both parties or all parties to sort of renege on the terms of the agreement. And you need to know what will happen if these sort of things take place. And if those things are not agreed upon in the contract, other problems could arise by simply not having agreed on those things in the first place. Now, reason number 5, which is my favorite one, is that contracts allow you to receive deposits for your work. Now, this is one of the great things about contracts. Contracts allow you to put these sort of business practices in place, like deposits, which help you ensure that you're not doing any sort of work before you have some sort of financial investment in that work. And this is good for financial purposes, of course, but it's also good for things like time. So you don't want to get like a call for a gig, say a month out, and then you start rehearsing and preparing and learning music and putting music together and all of this kind of stuff with you by yourself or your band. And then you get a call like 2 days before that, hey, now the gig is canceled because we just decided not to do it. And you've put in all of this work and you haven't had any sort of compensation for that work that you put in. And the same thing with, say, a studio project. You don't want to start, writing music and composing songs and recording and all of this kind of stuff, only to have that client come back after all of that and tell you, hey, I decided to go with someone else, or I decided not to do this project anymore. Having terms for a deposit in your contract, again, just ensures that you will be compensated something for the work that you've completed. So question of the day, have you had any bad experiences with clients and you wish that you had a contract in place before you worked with them? Jump down in the comments and let me know. I'd love to hear about those stories. Now, here's the power tip that I promise you. When you're writing out contracts and such, instead of using the word contract, use the word agreement. The word agreement kind of softens that stigmatic edge that the word contracts usually have. And it's much easier to tell someone that you're working with that you will send them an agreement rather than send them a contract. So if you're a bit uneasy about using contracts and using the wording contract, simply use the word agreement instead, and that makes it very easy. Okay, so that's it for this video. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.